Good evening, traders. This is the Sunday outlook. It is the 8th of March, and we're going to be focusing purely on the technical analysis today. There's a lot of complexities going on the fundamental side of trading and in the markets at the moment, and it's not something that I'm going to pretend to be an expert about, but we can state the obvious that the recent price action and the expansive moves in things like the DXY and in gold can be heavily attributed to what's going on in the Middle East at the moment. So what we're seeing in Iran especially, but also the wider implications across the whole region. So I won't go into any detail, but I am going to start on the technicals. So we'll look at DXY to start. And given that push from last week, it's given us quite a nice point of interest, being this fair value gap. So we've got two options of what price could do this week. So option number one is going to be that price comes back into this fair value gap. We get some sort of lower time frame confirmation that price is ready to start moving higher, essentially following the trend. Option number two is going to be that we essentially disrespect and use this fair value gap as a flip zone, which would give us confirmation to essentially start trading lower. Now, this is the daily time frame, so this could take several days to play out. We may come into this area and essentially accumulate for a whole week, but that's yet to be seen. So I'll just mark these out as option one and option two. If we're looking on the 4 hour as well, we have already started to accumulate. So if you think about power of 3 or AMD or whatever you want to call it, I've got that accumulation zone coming now. So when we start to think about narratives and what the market might be telling us it wants to do, then we could see a manipulation leg like such before we get the push, which would be the distribution. If I just mark that out just for an example, and then we get the distribution like so. So that could be that first play. Secondly, if we're looking at our clear draws, we have got this trendline liquidity to the left, which is quite a nice draw for price, given if we do want to use this as a flip zone. I feel the first thing it would take is these lows here. We could see some sort of resistance evident in this area, but I feel like if we were to flip this zone, it would come straight to these lows. As I said, that's yet to be seen, and we're simply going to react to price rather than try and speculate or anticipate. We'll use our understanding of a narrative or the narrative that we build, and we'll simply apply a mechanical edge on top of that, where we can then increase our probabilities and start to weigh things in our favor a little bit more. So given that is DXY, I'll move on to EURUSD now. As we understand, EURUSD is highly correlated with DXY, so it's often just the complete flip of DXY, but we can get some divergence sometimes, which can give us some added confluences. So first thing I'm marking out is that price swept the lows, which is obviously in the same way DXY swept the highs. We did get this break of structure to the upside a few weeks back, yeah, about a month ago. So essentially we are still bullish. We failed to close underneath this strong low. We have wicked it out. What could we see price do? Essentially, much like DXY, we created this new week opening gap with a fair value gap below it. So change this to blue. What we could see price do is essentially just start to trade back towards it, which on the lower time frame could be a temporary buy side bias as we trade towards the point of interest on the higher time frames, or we can be patient and simply wait for price to get there and then make a decision. Another option would be for price to simply start trading lower, and that initial draw would be the previous week low, which is right here. And if we take that low, then the odds are that we could see price come all the way lower to these monthly lows of November. So wouldn't be surprised if we do see price start to trade lower, but at the same time, I'm not going to anticipate price to do such a thing if we are currently holding above, or at least rejecting from this strong low. So if we jump on the 4 hour chart, much like DXY, as I was saying, it is highly correlated. We have started to accumulate. Price has been hard to trade recently as well. I'm not sure if many people have found it the same, but it's just not been an easy read. But like I said, we've got that accumulation. What we could get now is either a manipulation to the downside and then trade higher, which would be a nice setup to confirm that temporary buy side bias, or we can simply see price move up into our point of interest, manipulate, which is where we then get the confirmation for sell side setups, which would be nicer with the higher time frame narrative as well. So when it comes to an actual bias on EURUSD, I would be continuing to look for shorts until proven otherwise, and that on the short term in terms of shifting bias. In the midterm could be simply a break above here, where we then start to look for a retracement and some sort of confirmation to get long, or it would be price essentially trading down like so, unless we start to then on the 4-hour break structure to the upside, then that would be confirmation for me that price is manipulated and is now ready to move to the downside, and it would look obviously like such, and then we would get that distribution to the upside potentially. So got a couple of options, ultimately still favoring the sell side. I imagine it's going to be relatively similar on GBPUSD. So if I just clear these drawings. So again, another pair that's highly correlated to the dollar, however, not so much. This is where we do get some discrepancy between price action, as it's less weighted than the euro to the dollar. So first thing I'm seeing is this massive new week opening gap that we got off the back of the news that essentially it had all kicked off in the Middle East. So this is ultimately a key draw on price for myself, and I'll be waiting for price to essentially give me some sort of confirmation on what it wants to do in here. So we've got two options in here, much like EURUSD. We could either see price essentially start to push away from here, like we did at the front end of last week, or price could ultimately just completely disrespect, manipulate, and then start trading higher like so, because we do have some areas that we could target buy side perspective. And when we zoom right out, we are still, I say we're still bullish, but you know, we're in this bullish leg. We've taken this internal liquidity here, so but again, it is really pushing it when you zoom out this far on a daily if you're not a swing trader. So try to keep it relatively near term. So I'll jump on a 4-hour, see what kind of model we're getting at the same time. This looks horrible. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So GBPUSD looks like it's already starting to give signs of manipulation, and we could get that early this week, or we've already actually started breaking out. So I've just marked this as my accumulation. Price is coming into this new week opening gap that we identified at the start of, or when we just started over looking at GBPUSD, and where we could wait, aggressive traders are essentially going to be looking to just sell from here straight away. The chances of shorts happening straight away on the front end of the week following trend are often quite slim. So what I would anticipate price to do, or speculate, or however you want to put it, is for price to get that an initial push away, it's potentially a small push, and then price to essentially run on that liquidity. That would be what I would favor in terms of a narrative, because like I said, we have got points of interest that rest above that area, and but at the end of the day is we are waiting to see what price tells us. So if we do get price to instantly start pushing away with expansion, giving us indication that momentum and volume is still in favor of the sellers, then I will simply continue to short the market. But if we do give signs of flipping this zone and trading towards the next zone and the next zone, then I will be looking for longs until we get confirmation that we are ready to start shifting on the mid and lower time frames back towards our high time frame bias, which ultimately is shorts at the moment. So that is the outlook for GBPUSD, EURUSD, and DXY. Essentially, we're bullish on the dollar, which means we are bearish on GBPUSD and EURUSD. However, in the interim, we could get signs of a pullback, which would give us opportunities to go long on Forex, being long on the pound and long on the euro. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions or you're interested in working with myself, look at the links below. Similarly, feel free to sign up to my free Discord. There's a lot of free value going in there on a regular basis at the moment. A lot of support from myself and the other guys within the community. So again, feel free to sign up. If you have any questions, please do send me a DM and comment below, because I do see all of the comments and I do respond to them all as well. So let's have a good week.